President Uhuru Kenyatta's primary objective in this year's coming general election is one: to stop his deputy, Dr. William Samoei Arap Ruto, from succeeding him. And the president has identified Raila Odinga as the only guy who can stop his deputy from becoming the next president of the Republic of Kenya. And the president is actually doing everything within his powers to actualize that objective. But what is President Uhuru Kenyatta's game plan ahead of this general election? That's the question which most Kenyans are asking. Because you know one thing for sure, that after the handshake, the politics of this country changed completely. There are those people who believed in Raila Odinga, and because of that handshake, they started supporting William Samoei Arap Ruto. And you also know that even on the other side, there are people who used to support President Uhuru Kenyatta, but they never embraced the handshake. And if you've been following President Uhuru Kenyatta very closely, you should have noted that the president has actually changed his strategies. So in this video today, I want us to look at the new strategies which President Uhuru Kenyatta is using, which the deputy president never saw coming. But before we do all those, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please I want you to take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue. Thank you guys for your continued support, because without that your support, this channel cannot be where it is. Now, I want to be straight to the point. What is President Uhuru Kenyatta's strategies of stopping his deputy? That's the question. In my view, the president has changed his strategies. Because if you've been following the president previously never used to respond to the deputy president. He would just keep quiet. He would remain silent. The deputy president was doing A, B, C, D. The president was just quiet. To some extent, even Kenyans started asking whether the president was keen on managing his succession politics. But of late, the president is coming out very strongly that he's going to ensure that his deputy is stopped, and that he's going to ensure that his one vote is cast to whoever he wants, and that he will use his influence to convince people to vote for that candidate, even if that person will only be one person. The truth of the matter is that there are people who have one vote, like myself, but there are people who don't have one vote. They may carry 1 million votes. When Kenneth Matiba said he was not going to run for the presidency and that his supporters should actually go ahead and ban their voters' card, they did exactly that. President Uhuru Kenyatta is one of those individuals. He can direct his supporters not to vote. And you can be rest assured they will not vote. Just like Raila Odinga and just like the deputy president nowadays command that kind of support. But what is his strategy of ensuring that his deputy is stopped? The first strategy, in my view, is provocation. You know, the president always remained silent. And I remember opining on this platform that if there's one thing which should have worried the deputy president and his brigades, was the silence of the president. Because when the president is silent and you're moving, you don't even know what he's thinking. So the president has now moved away from that particular corner of being silent. And the president is now going directly to attack his deputy. He did that in Mombasa, 3 days. He has been doing that severally in Nairobi, in the larger Mount Kenya region. He's been doing that. So the idea behind direct attacks is basically to provoke the DP. And by provoking the DP, what the president intends to achieve is that he wants the deputy president to respond. And once the deputy president responds to those attacks, then probably he might, you know, the deputy president is normally a very angry guy. Once he responds angrily, then the president can then launch another attacks. When he was in Mombasa, he first challenged the DP not to take credit for his project. The DP then went, after being provoked, went and responded. What was his response? That nobody was going to stop him from taking credit for the success of Jubilee Party. You know, that was a trap, because if you know the politics, the deputy president has always maintained, and that's why he became popular in the larger Mount Kenya region, that the president failed. The entire country has always believed that President Uhuru Kenyatta failed. And because the president was silent, he went underground, fixed some of those issues. Now, clearly, you can say that the president has done 1, 2, 3, 4. So he managed to corner the DP, and the DP now started defending the fact that the president has succeeded. And that's why when the president the next day went to Mombasa and again responded to the deputy president, and the deputy president, I think, was in Vihiga or Trans Nzoia, the deputy president then never attacked the president. Why? Because he realized that the president was laying a trap for him, and he was getting right inside that trap. And that the deputy president then decided that the person to attack was none other than Raila Odinga. When there's a contest between Raila and Ruto in 2022, and then you shift from attacking Raila and you begin attacking the president, what does that tell you? So I think William Ruto's advisors advised him appropriately that attacking President Uhuru Kenyatta was not good for him. It was only going to hurt his campaign, because his supporters in the larger Mount Kenya region, even those who were leaning towards his camp, were not going to accept that easily. So the president is actually provoking his deputy as we speak. So that's number one. The second strategy which is using is zoning. If you are keen, the president is strategically zoning this country. Not the way we know it at Central, Mount Kenya, or Nyanza. It's doing it county by county. And the president is actually going ahead to identify, probably with the help of NIS, to identify strong candidates. And those strong candidates are pitted against the supporters or against the deputy president. William Ruto and his brigades were in, for example, Trans Nzoia yesterday. How was that rally? The rally was good, right? But one thing was clear. George Natembeya. In the rally where the deputy president was, it was expected that George Natembeya was going to be the subject. George Natembeya and, for example, Kipchumba Murkomen have been attacking each other on TV. Murkomen had the opportunity to attack Natembeya in Trans Nzoia. That never happened. So what happened was that as the DP was speaking, those who were in UDA attires were actually singing praises of Natembeya. That's the truth. So the president has done that. Let me give you another example. The case of Meru, why Munya is not running. The president is keen on consolidating the Meru votes. So he has prevailed upon Munya not to run. And if Munya and Kiritu are going to combine forces, who can stop them in Meru? Who? Ruto can stop them? Who can stop them? I don't think anybody can stop them. So the president is actually doing this across the country. In Northeastern, he came up with the idea of Kenya Opia, a party which is gaining serious traction in that region. And that's his ways of stopping William Samoei Arap Ruto. Because, if Raila has Nyanza already, he's going to win Coast already. Raila Odinga will fight in Western. Of course, he's going to win in Western. Then, Rift Valley, the president is identifying those constituencies. I'll be very keenly following how they're going to deal with the Narok. Because Narok, there's this guy called Ole Kenta, who is causing serious headache for the deputy president. The guy is so popular. He's running for the gubernatorial seat there. So there's Ole Kenta there. There's Kajiado. I don't know how they're going to go around Kajiado. Let us wait for Laikipia and Nakuru. Nakuru already, Lee Kenyanju is there. If he's going to get the support of the Kikuyus, even if it's 30%, then let's say Raila Odinga supporters down there, also support him. So basically, he's doing zoning and at the same time identifying candidates who can easily win and prevailing on others. Remember, the deputy president played his cards early. He played his cards early. Like in Nyandarua, I'm told there was this lady who was running there. He's now prevailed on the lady to leave it for the speaker, and the lady is not happy. In Kirinyaga, it's the same story, and Nani was forced to leave now, the Purity Ngirishi. And Girish is going to be supported by the president. So that's the second strategy. President Uhuru Kenyatta's third strategy, which should worry him most, which should worry the DP most, is the announcement that is going to fund candidates. You know, politics is a very expensive venture. Running a presidential campaign is not going to be easy. William Ruto can fund aspirants. But I doubt if William Ruto has the funding, the kind of funding Uhuru can do if he decides. In the latest supplementary budget, there's huge allocation on president's transport and movement, which means the president is going to move across the country. So that's already catered for in his budget. But what about funding individual candidates? So it means the president will go to Mount Kenya, identify candidates, strong candidates, like he did in Kiamba. That was an experiment. Identify a strong candidate, fund that candidate properly. Let them compete with William Ruto under the banner of Azimio. The mere fact that he's going to fund these candidates, number one, is going to attract strong people to Jubilee. Once those candidates are attracted to Jubilee and then they are facilitated to campaign, let me assure you, a lot of things are going to change on the ground. And number four, his fourth strategy, is the formation of super alliance. What Uhuru wanted to do was to isolate William Samoei Arap Ruto, so that Ruto remains as one-man army. And I think either the DP had someone telling him what the president was planning, or he was just bright. The idea of isolating him using super alliance, the DP thwarted. He went for Mudavadi and he went for Weta. That you can now say that the DP is isolated. Previously, you'd say he was isolated, but that was President Uhuru Kenyatta's game plan. Bring together all One Kenya Alliance leadership together. Once they are brought together, the best thing was now to ask them to support Raila Odinga through an alliance. Although Mudavadi and Weta left, the president is still keen on crafting that super alliance. Although that super alliance might not really or necessarily isolate the DP, but the fact of the matter is that, for example, in the coastal region, with Amason Kingi teaming up with Joho, what are the chances of DP Ruto down there? What are his chances? You go to a place like Kisii. Sorry. You go to a place like, say, Kisii, and you manage to bring them together under Azimio. Because in Kisii, in the last election, we had the Jubilee and we had ODM. What will be the impact? So the formation of super alliance strategically is actually meant to isolate the DP, though the DP was wise enough. Number 5 is indirect endorsement of Raila Odinga. What President Uhuru Kenyatta has been doing is to indirectly endorse Raila Odinga. When he was in Mombasa, he did that. The president has been doing that indirectly in preparation for direct endorsement. President Uhuru Kenyatta is going to endorse Raila Odinga on 25th. And then on 26th, President Uhuru Kenyatta is going to unveil Raila Odinga as the joint candidate for the Azimio. That day will form the basis of Raila Odinga's campaign. It will create a momentum in this country. It's going to create a euphoria. And that euphoria will lead to Raila Odinga being declared the president. Basically, what they intend to do, once that euphoria is created, then the president and Raila Odinga are going to hit the ground running. And they're going to form various teams. Already you can see they're experimenting it in Nyanza Azimio yesterday. The same team is already in Vihiga today. I think tomorrow they'll be in which county? Tomorrow is Friday. I don't know. I know on Sunday they'll be in Migori. On Saturday Sunday they will be in Migori. So that team is being experimented. Remember, that's not the team of the governors. There's also another team of the governors who will also be campaigning for Raila Odinga. So once the indirect endorsement is converted into direct endorsement during the NDC, then they're going to create momentum and the two gentlemen are going to start going outside there to campaign. Number 6 is planting of spies. You know, President Uhuru Kenyatta has now managed to penetrate William Ruto's camp. By doing that, the president will have information on William Ruto's plans, and is going to thwart them. He will have idea of what the DP is planning. For example, if he wants to meet A, B, C, D, he will be able, so that he can be able to reach out to those people before. Through planting of spies, the president will be able to understand William Ruto's strategies. And from that, he will be able to thwart all those strategies. And lastly, which is also important, I know most of you might not think it's important, is the expulsion of William Ruto's allies from Jubilee Party, and also from parliamentary committees or leadership. The moment President Uhuru Kenyatta kicked Aden Duale as the majority leader, he reduced the influence of Aden Duale. The moment he kicked out Susan Kihika, he reduced the influence of Susan Kihika. Who is now Ben Washali in your view? The moment Ben Washali was removed as the majority whip at the National Assembly, his influence reduced. It means now if you are to go to a place, then there is Amos Kemunya, there is John Mbadi, then those two people will be the ones to speak. Not Duale, not Washali. So basically, it has reduced the influence of William Ruto's key allies. William Ruto appointed some of these guys with his eyes trained on 2022. He did this in 2017. He brought some of these guys because he believed they were going to be instrumental in his campaigns. So basically, by removing them from Jubilee leadership, by removing them from parliamentary committees, even the sources of their money reduced, their influence, their visibility, and everything. I don't know what you think. Let me hear your thoughts. But will those strategies stop William Ruto from becoming the president of the Republic of Kenya? I don't know. That one I leave to you guys. Please, thank you guys for taking your time to watch this video up to this stage. What I normally do when I ask you guys if you've reached this stage is that I want to give you special appreciation. I'm going to take the next 2 hours just to respond to comments of those people who reached this point. So just say present. I'm going to respond in the next 2 or 3 hours. If you come late, then just know that maybe I've stepped out a bit. Thank you guys, and please, may you have a good day. Bye-bye. That Jimmy Wanjigi video is also coming up shortly. Thank you guys.